Global leadership definition, characteristics, competencies, challenges, and examples. 1. Definition of global leadership. Global leadership can be defined as the capacity of an individual or organization to influence, inspire, and guide people across national, cultural, and organizational boundaries toward a shared goal. Unlike traditional leadership, which is often confined to a single cultural or institutional setting, global leadership requires the ability to navigate diverse environments, characterized by multiple languages, values, political systems, and economic structures. 2. Key characteristics of global leaders. Successful global leaders are distinguished by attributes that extend beyond conventional leadership skills. In a world marked by increasing globalization, digital connectivity, and socio-political complexity, leaders cannot rely solely on authority, technical knowledge, or operational efficiency. Instead, they must cultivate a broader set of competencies that allow them to navigate cultural differences, anticipate change, adapt to volatility, act ethically, and communicate effectively across borders. These characteristics are not isolated traits, but interdependent dimensions of a holistic leadership profile. The 5 most critical characteristics: cultural intelligence (CQ), strategic vision, adaptability and agility, ethical integrity, and effective communication form the backbone of effective global leadership. 2.1. Cultural intelligence (CQ). Cultural intelligence is perhaps the most essential characteristic of global leadership. It refers to the ability to deeply understand and respect a cultural diversity while adapting behavior and communication to different cultural contexts. Leaders with high CQ can effectively interpret cultural cues, avoid misinterpretations, and build trust with people from diverse backgrounds. For example, when negotiating with Japanese partners, a culturally intelligent leader understands the significance of indirect communication, consensus building, and subtle nonverbal cues such as silence or nodding. Conversely, in U.S. or German contexts, where direct communication is valued, the same leader adjusts their style to be more explicit and results-oriented. This flexibility allows leaders to bridge misunderstandings, avoid ethnocentrism, and create environments of inclusivity, where diverse perspectives are not only acknowledged but leveraged for innovation. CQ also requires metacognitive awareness, the ability to reflect on one's own cultural assumptions and biases. A leader may ask, "Am I interpreting this behavior through my cultural lens, or am I considering the other's perspective?" This reflective approach transforms diversity from a potential source of conflict into a reservoir of creativity and resilience. 2.2. Strategic vision. In an unpredictable world, global leaders must demonstrate strategic vision, the ability to anticipate global trends and align them with organizational objectives. Visionary leaders recognize that success in the 21st century requires integrating economic, technological, social, and environmental dynamics into their strategies. For instance, as climate change intensifies, visionary leaders do not merely see it as a regulatory challenge, but as an opportunity to invest in sustainable technologies and green innovation. Similarly, digital transformation is not viewed as a threat to existing business models, but as a catalyst for new ways of working and delivering value. Strategic vision allows leaders to connect the micro level of organizational operations with the macro level of global trends. They can interpret demographic shifts, geopolitical realignments, and technological disruptions, and then translate those insights into actionable strategies. This foresight enables their organizations to remain competitive and resilient in volatile environments, while also positioning them as pioneers rather than followers in global markets. 2.3. Adaptability and agility. Flexibility is a hallmark of global leadership. Unlike leaders in more stable, homogeneous environments, global leaders operate amid constant change, political instability, shifting markets, technological breakthroughs, and even global pandemics. Adaptability is the capacity to adjust to these changes without losing focus on long-term goals, while agility refers to the speed and creativity with which leaders pivot strategies. In response to disruptions, the COVID-19 pandemic offers a clear illustration. Global leaders who were adaptable and agile rapidly shifted to remote work, diversified supply chains, and invested in digital solutions. Others who clung rigidly to old models faltered. Similarly, leaders navigating the rise of artificial intelligence must remain agile, rethinking workforce structures, training employees in new competencies, and redesigning ethical guidelines around AI usage. Adaptability and agility also extend to personal attributes. Leaders must demonstrate resilience in the face of uncertainty and maintain calm under pressure. Their ability to manage ambiguity not only stabilizes their organizations, but also inspires confidence among employees and stakeholders who look for guidance during turbulent times. 2.4 Ethical integrity. Integrity provides the moral foundation of global leadership. Leaders are increasingly judged not only by their financial performance, but also by their commitment to universal ethical standards such as human rights, sustainability, fairness, and accountability. In today's global environment, scandals involving corruption, labor exploitation, or environmental negligence can devastate reputations and erode stakeholder trust almost instantly. Global leaders who embrace ethical integrity go beyond compliance. They actively integrate ethical frameworks such as ESG, environmental social governance standards, and the UN Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, into their organizational practices. By doing so, they ensure that decisions are not only profitable, but also socially responsible and environmentally sustainable. For example, leaders in the apparel industry have faced criticism for poor labor conditions in global supply chains. Those demonstrating ethical integrity have invested in transparent auditing systems, fair wages, and community development programs, showing that profitability and responsibility can coexist. Ethical integrity also enhances legitimacy. In contexts where leaders interact with diverse cultural groups, ethical leadership communicates fairness, consistency, and trustworthiness, values that transcend cultural boundaries and resonate universally. 2.5 Effective communication. Finally, effective communication is indispensable for global leadership. It encompasses not only verbal fluency in multiple languages, but also sensitivity to nonverbal cues, intercultural dialogue, and digital communication platforms. Leaders must tailor their communication styles to suit diverse audiences, ensuring clarity while respecting cultural norms. For example, in cross-cultural negotiations, a leader must decide whether to use formal or informal language, whether humor is appropriate, and how to structure arguments persuasively. In multicultural teams, effective communication also requires ensuring inclusivity, making space for those less confident in the dominant language, encouraging participation, and clarifying misunderstandings without condescension. In addition, the rise of remote and hybrid work has made digital communication an essential dimension of leadership. Global leaders must master virtual collaboration tools, maintain engagement across time zones, and compensate for the lack of physical presence by cultivating trust and empathy online. Effective communication is not one way. It involves active listening. Leaders who listen attentively build stronger relationships, foster innovation, and create a sense of shared ownership. Clear and empathetic communication thus becomes vital not only for managing diverse teams, but also for forging international partnerships and advancing global missions. Conclusion. The 5 key characteristics of global leaders: cultural intelligence, strategic vision, adaptability and agility, ethical integrity, and effective communication are deeply interwoven. Together, they enable leaders to operate effectively in complex international environments, balancing the need for global consistency with local sensitivity. In the absence of these characteristics, leadership risks becoming parochial, reactive, or ethically compromised. But when cultivated intentionally, these traits allow leaders to inspire trust, foster innovation, and drive organizations toward long-term sustainability and global relevance. Ultimately, These characteristics form the moral and practical compass by which global leaders can navigate the uncertainties of the 21st century.